Yes, let's take just a minute, please. Give a little more time if anybody wants to join. Well, we can probably start with a little kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Shri Radhe Jaya Nittai Gaurango Nittai Gaurango Nittai Gauranga Gaurahari Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Guru. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. जय विष्णु आचार्य आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतक श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जाय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जाय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी नमः
और सारे
पंकजना
मेरे बच्चे बच्चे बाजी चल रहे हैं।
नमः पंकजनेत्राय
तो
नमस्ते
आज ही हटा आ जा रहे।
नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतिशे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्दिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय
भाप हो रहा कहीं जड़े भाप उससे तो
कृष्णप्रस्थाय
ना तेन
भूतले
वध थोड़ा बहुत
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear Prabhuji, Sarmataji, Dhanavad Pranam. All glories to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in. Hare Krishna, Lilananda Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, my Sashtang Pranams
हरे
Prabhuji.
कृष्ण दंडक
Hare Krishna, Akshay Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna, Surega Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna, Tanushri Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Hare
वो
Krishna,
हानु
Sirisha
आता था वो
Mataji,
हरे
दादा
Dhanavad
भैया
कृष्णा
Pranam.
हरे
प्रभु जी
कृष्ण प्रभु
प्रणाम
जी
प्रभु जी।
Hare
दंडवत
Krishna,
प्रणाम
Shilpa Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you so much for joining in and giving your most valuable association on a Saturday morning. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. I hope you are able to see my screen now. Yes. Let me also open my notes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatammirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much to giving me the opportunity, the most insignificant, among all our circle. And still, this this chapter is all about, you know, uh, how Krishna protects. If you carry Krishna, if you do a little bit for Krishna, how Krishna helps us remove all the calamities, how he arranges everything, so as to, show mercy on whoever takes shelter on him. Yes, you're able to see my screen, I think. So this is the most beautiful uh, chapter with name The Birth of Lord Krishna. Hari Hari Bol. Lord Krishna is coming in, right? Taking birth. And wonderfully, first two parts were covered, right? And a little bit context to this chapter is like we have seen very for very long time in the Canto 9, right? And various uh, kingdoms in which we saw King Yayati, right? King Yayati giving birth to four sons, and due to circumstances, he asks his sons to give his young age, you know. But being eldest son Yadu, refuses to give first three, refuses to give. Then Puru Maharaj, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expansion himself, right? He gives that benediction to the father. Then, though Yadu didn't become the king after Yayati, that Vamsha, the dynasty is known as Yadu Vamsha, right? So Lord Shukadeva Goswami covers all the moon god and sun god, both dynasties, lunar dynasty, and solar dynasty, right? Like that. And then in Yaduvamsha, you know, superstar bonds. The Lord also explains in this chapter that this is his third birth as Krishna, right? His first birth being in Swayambhuva Manu time, right? He comes as the son of Sutapa and Prishni. We see many times, right? Prishni Garbha, like that, son of Prishni. In the first birth, they meditated on Lord for 12,000 celestial years, demigods years, not human years, right? Uh, and they asked the Lord, "Oh, my Lord, please give us a son just like you." They even didn't even ask for the Lord. That is too much to ask for, right? No. My Lord, please give a son who is same like you. Right? And then the Lord becomes so pleased with them. And then he tells, "Not son like me, I myself will come as son like your son." Right? So in his first Janma, he comes to Sutapa and Prishni Mata. Then in his second life, he comes to, uh, Kashyapa Prajapati and Aditi, right, as Vamana Deva. Vamana Deva also has a name as Upendra, right? And this is actually the third birth of the Lord to the same couple, though they are in different bodies. It is explained in Bhagavatam that they are the same people, right? And the third birth, Devaki and Vasudeva, right? And this comes as son, he comes as Krishna. And it is explained by Srila Prabhupada in the verses and purpose that we read today, right? In that, we will see that all these avatars, right, as Pushnikarbha and also as Vamana, are expansions of Krishna. Whereas this particular form of the Lord is Swayam Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, many times Srila Prabhupada will quote, right? He comes as full, four-handed Lord, right? That is there, right? And this chapter, the summary, the essence, when Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to the whole body of the Lord, this particular canto, skanda, is compared to Lord's face, right? Face. When we decorate our body after shower, the most careful part we take is like, uh, you know, face, right? This is face of the Lord. We are now touching at the parts of the Lord's face, right? So let's cherish it. Let's very happily relish it, right? Chapter 1, it is being set, the scenery is being set, from the dynasty and like that. And then that chapter ends with Kamsa's atrocities, right? Kamsa, and he imprisons his own father, right? Ugrasena, who was a very big king, uh, king of many states called Shurasena at that place, right? And then Jarasandha, Menamama of Kamsa. So they had a big alliance. It's like, downtime that was running in Madura area. So everybody was so much terrified, so much terrified. The Gopis at this time tried as much possible to hide their identity, because of the atrocities from Kamsa. Big kings used to fear him, right? Who was this Kamsa in his last life? He was Kalanemi, who gave so much difficulty to, Hanumanji. Uh, he was Kalanemi in his past life, who was also very powerful demon, right? Uh, Yeah, then all the demigods reached out to the Lord. My Lord, the atrocities have crossed all limits. You please come. Then the Lord bestows them benediction, and I will come. And Krishna is coming. Today is kind of conclusion of Lord Krishna's birth episode, right? Uh, so we will be starting from verse 43, if I'm not mistaken. A little bit context to that, Uh, since the Lord is has already come as Vishnu form, just to give clarity to Devaki Mata, right? Why I have taken this birth. And only difference between Devaki Mata and Yashoda Mata is that the Lord fully revealed to Yashoda Mata to reveal his previous births, right? This is not the first time I'm coming on your womb, but two times it's already happened. And now I myself came. You also had some sons, but why I'm showing you especially this, full form of Krishna to you, so that you are clear, so that you have this idea, it's me who has come now, but to Yashoda Mata he didn't give this realization, so that she fully nourishes the Lord in the form of her son. And we also see some explanations of how Yoga Maya arranged uh, like that. We start from 41, verse 41. A little bit context is there also. So I beg you to take turns in reading. Help me, right? Uh, it is optional for you to read Sanskrit, though I will beg, if it is good if we read. We do not have many verses today. Hopefully, we will cover all of them in time, right? So I will start with the first one just to set the template. Then we can all take turns in reading. This is so wonderful, wonderful part of this chapter. Hare Krishna. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Giriraj Prabhuji Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna Swapna Mataji Dandot Pranam. Samsung Prabhuji or Mataji, I don't see your name there. Thank you so much for joining. Dandot Pranam at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.41. अदृष्टवान्यतमं लोके शीलौधार्या गुणैः समम् अहं सूतोवम् अदवम् Prishnigarbha iti shrutaha. Since I found no one else as highly elevated as you in simplicity and other qualities of good character, I appeared in this world as Prishnigarbha, or one who is celebrated as having taken birth from Prishni. In the Treta Yuga, the Lord appeared as Prishnigarbha. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura says, Prishnigarbha iti soyam Treta Yugavataro lakshyate. Yes, like we have just now discussed, right? The Lord uh, appeared in Treta Yuga as Prishnigarbha. Okay, Krishna. Anybody wants to read 10.3.42, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Ma. Yes, Amma, please go ahead.
Translation, Prabhu.
Shloka also, Mata, if you want to. If you want to skip, you can do, but please see if you want to.
Tayorvam punar evaham adityam asakasyapat upendra iti vikyato vamanatvacha vamanaha. Translation. In the next millennium, I again appeared from the two of you, who appeared as my mother Aditi and my father Kashyapa. I was known as Upendra, and because of being a dwarf, I was also known as Vamana.
Hare Krishna. Kashyapa Prajapati, right? We know he has two wives, Aditi and Diti. From Aditi came all the Devatas, right? Including the Lord himself, Vamana Dev. We have seen that Vrittanta also, some months ago. Vamana Dev, when he uh, comes, he, bestows Bali Maharaja, right? When he bestows, he really bestows. Though he pushes him down to lower lokas, that is compared to sometimes better than heavens, right? Sutala loka. And the mercy of the Lord has no limit. It doesn't just send him there and he becomes the security guard, watchman of that loka, telling, as long as you are ruling this kingdom, nobody will ever come and attack you, give harm to you. I will protect you. Hare Krishna. Lord Vamana Dev ki jai. Yes. Who wants to take the next one, please? verse 43.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Madhavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Pranam, Pranam Amma. We missed you on Thursday. You usually never miss.
ఏకాదశి అది చేసిండు ప్రభుజీ ఓపిక లేకుండా రాలేకపోయినా.
No problem. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Shall I go through it, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. तृतीयेऽस्मिन् भवेऽहं वै तेनैव वपुसातवां जातो भूयस्तयोर्येव सत्यं ये व्याहृतं सति.
Go ahead, Amma.
Yeah. Translation and purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Now, O supremely chaste mother, I, the same personality, have now appeared of you both as your son for the third time. Take my words as the truth. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead chooses a mother and father from whom to take birth again and again. The Lord took birth originally from Sutapa and Prishni, then from Kashyapa and Aditi, and again from the same father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki. Vasudeva and Devaki. In other appearances also, the Lord said, I took the form of an ordinary child just to become your son, so that we could reciprocate eternal love. Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his Krishna Sandarbha, 96th chapter, where he notes that in text 37, the Lord says, Amuna Vapusa, meaning by the same form. In other words, the Lord told Devaki, this time I have appeared in my original form as Sri Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami says that the other forms were partial expansions of the Lord's original form. But because of the intense love developed by Krishna and Sutapa, the Lord appeared from Devaki and Vasudeva in his full opulence as Sri Krishna. In this verse, the Lord confirms, I am the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, but I appear in full opulence as Sri Krishna. This is the purport of the words Tenaiva Vapusa. When the Lord mentioned the birth of Prishnigarbha, he did not say Tenaiva Vapusa, but he assured Devaki that in the third birth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna had appeared, not his partial expansion. Prishnigarbha and Vamana were partial expansions of Krishna, but in this third birth, Krishna himself appeared. This is the explanation given in Sri Krishna Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you want to speak anything on this wonderful?
Actually, I'm
Prabhuji?
so
Yes, Mataji.
actually I'm so overwhelmed to hear that this is a original form of Krishna in this avatar, because previously I don't know that. I used to think that all avatars are the full original forms of Sri Krishna only. But while I am going through this verse, just I realized that he appeared in his original form.
Hari Bol.
I'm so honored.
Yes,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ajnana right. Yeah, slowly what is happening, Mataji, the lepanam on the eyes. We have Srila Prabhupada quote, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, right? As we go in to the Bhagavatam, the eyes are slowly becoming clearer and clearer. You know, if we
Yes,
see
Prabhuji.
His Grace Dwarakadisha Prabhuji and Vishaka Mataji's wonderful lecture from last Sunday, and their conclusion was that as we go closer to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates himself more and more.
Yes.
That was the story of Matsya Avatara they told, right? Right? As
Yes,
we
yes,
go
Prabhuji.
more and more closer to the Lord, He keeps revealing Himself, you know. And when a devotee protects the Lord, and the Lord protects devotee multifolds, right? That's what we heard in the case of Satyavrata Maharaj. Wonderful, wonderful lecture. And yes, Mataji. And I was studying in Poland, my master. Then I was living in the hostel there with all the European boys there, right? And then they asked me, why do you have so many gods, right? Out of these many gods, who do you pray to? Then I said to them, we have three primary gods, right? Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. These three are the main one. Out of these, we hear a lot of times Lord Shiva's name. Then Vishnu is the ruler. Then Brahma is the one who is created. Then they were asking me, who is the highest? Then I said, all three are equal because no knowledge was there, right? Uh, so much concoction, actually, I was also mentioning the name of Ganesh, but I didn't have any proper answers, right? We just pray, we go to temple, we go around Tulasi, and none of the clarity was not there. Being born, in Bharatavarsha, uh, this is my case. I'm not sure, right? Uh, I didn't have answers. And I used to sing also atheistic songs in school. It's not that I, hate God so much, but I didn't get answers in my life. That was one of the reasons. I go to one of the elders in family and ask, why am I circumambulating around the Tulasi? No answer. Why am, hitting the coconut? No answer. Then at one point in my life, I was kind of like, what is this? Why are we doing this? Right? And then the most merciful Srila Prabhupada comes into life. Right? Then, yeah, we might think that there is no change in our lives. But with every passing lecture that we are hearing in our satsangs, every interaction with a devotee, a minute part of our life is improving, right? We might complain ourselves, but a minute part of our life is improving. And with these details coming in, right, many of our doubts are being expelled. Do you all agree with me that with every
Yes,
lecture, do you
yes,
think our
Prabhuji.
life becoming blissful? Right? You can all unmute at times, it's okay. Please unmute. Hare Krishna Padma Malini Mataji, Hare Priya Mataji, Shri Hari Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much for choosing to join, right? Uh, and the answers are really, really working on our life, right? And increasing our faith in spiritual life. Here, right? Uh, Amuna Vapusha. In text 37, the Lord used, Vapusha means by the form. Amuna means actual form. This is actual form, Krishna is telling, right? Uh, yeah, we have all this chart, all the. Giriraj Prabhuji, please unmute yourself and, try to speak whenever you want to, try to correct me if I'm telling something wrong, please. Lilananda Prabhuji left leg. Yes, let's move on to 44.
Dandavad Pranam Prabhu. Dandavad
Dandavad
Pranam.
Pranam Prabhuji, the most merciful Giriraj Prabhu,
Wonderful, wonderful.
joining
I'm just
from
hearing.
many
You are,
continents.
you are saying
Yes,
so good.
yes, Prabhuji.
You are saying so good, Prabhu. You are in line. Perfect. Continue, Prabhu. I will read some verses after some time.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes, you can
Krishna Prabhu.
all. Hare Krishna, Swapna Mataji, please go ahead. 44 verse. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam.
एतद्वां दर्शितं रूपं प्रजन्मासमरण्य मे नान्यतामद्भावं ज्ञानं मार्त्यलिङ्गेन जायते. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you of my previous births. Otherwise, if I appeared like an ordinary human child, you would not believe that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu has indeed appeared. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You also want to take Parpat Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Amma.
Yeah, but Devaki did not need to be reminded that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, had appeared as her son. She already accepted this. Nonetheless, she was anxious, thinking that if her neighbors heard that Vishnu had appeared as her son, none of them would believe it. Therefore, She wanted Lord Vishnu to transform himself into a human child. On the other hand, the Supreme Lord was also anxious, thinking that if he appeared as an ordinary child, she would not believe that Lord Vishnu has appeared. Such are the dealings between devotees and the Lord. The Lord deals with his devotees exactly like a human being. But this does not mean that the Lord is one of the human. For this, in the conclusion, non devotees avajnanati mam muda manushyanim tunam ashritam. Devotees know the Supreme Personality of Godhead under any circumstances. This is the difference between the devotee and a non devotee. The Lord says, Manmanabhava madbhakto madhya jimam namaskar. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Be- become my devotee. Offer obeisances and worship me. A non devotee cannot believe that simply by thinking of one person, one can achieve liberation from this material world and go back home, back to Godhead. But this is a fact. The Lord comes as a human being, and if one becomes attached to the Lord on the platform of loving service, one's proportion to the transcendental world is assured. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. Yeah. Anybody wants to say a few words about this? Now, one important point I can see in this, you know, Krishna gave us independence, right? In the form of independence, little minute independence he has given, you know. The three things what we can do with that independence is thinking, feeling, and willing. Srila Prabhupada explains in many verses and purports, right? Thinking, feeling, and willing. Three things are there in that. And in that, it looks like where we have to reach, you know, along with our Sankirtan, where we have to reach, it looks like is concentrate on Lord. I think that we need to, that art we need to excel, you know, slowly. While chanting also, while Sankirtan also, one thing while I was preparing for this lecture, one thing pressed me so much was like, uh, start to think about Lord, you know, when the Lord was born, see the power of thinking here, when the Lord was born to Devaki and Vasudeva, Vasudeva immediately, you know, has donated 10,000 cows to Brahmanas in his mind. In his mind. No. Yes, it is very tough to control the mind in Kali Yuga. Yes, it is not so easy. But then that's what the great exalted personalities did in the past, right? And also we see one example where a devotee, a poor Brahmana offering very hot sweet rice to the Lord, and he wants to see if it is too much hot. In his meditation, you know, he tried to touch the food, whether it is hot or not. It's actually very hard, but he saw that it is very hard. So the things of the mind are not just illusions. Maybe. The things of the mind are connection to the Lord. Right here, if we see, uh, they really meditated, thought about Krishna. They included Krishna in their thoughts. So also our acharyas say, right, all the endeavor is to get our thoughts back to Krishna while we chant, right? Slowly. Avajananti mam muda manushim tanumashritam. You know, the fools, they do not know the Lord. They think the Lord is one of the ordinary also. And His Grace, Dwarkadish Prabhu, last week pressing on this verse also. The Lord is telling what needs to be done. Right? Manmanha bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishvasyuktayam atmanam matparayanaha. You know, they pray to me with full atma parayana, you know, highest, as highest shelter. You know, అన్య చింత లేకుండా అనన్యశ్చింతయంతో మాం ఏ జనః పర్యుపాసతే అన్య చింత లేకుండా భగవంతుని ప్రార్థించారు కాబట్టే వాళ్ళు అంత ఉత్తములయ్యారు. Yes, Lord is also explaining here. I have shown you this form of Vishnu just to remind you my previous birth. My dear mother, this is not the first time I'm coming in your womb, but this is the third time. So that they are at peace. Right? Hare Krishna. Let's go forward. Yes, Prabhuji, I see you unmute. You want to read? Hare Krishna, Srija Mataji, Danot Pranam. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, Samsung Prabhuji or Mataji, you want to read? I see you unmute. Yes, then anyone else kindly take it. Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Danot Pranam.
దండవత్ ప్రణం హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ
అమ్మ చదువుతారా?
చదువుతాను. విచ్ ఇస్ ద శ్లోక సార్?
45 అమ్మ. 10.3.45.
ఓకే ఓకే 1 minute.
స్క్రీన్ పైన కూడా కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా కావాలంటే.
1 minute. 10.3.45 no? Okay.
Hare Krishna Vijay Kumar Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining in and giving your association.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hare Krishna
45.
Vijay Kumar Prabhuji. Yes,
Shall I
Amma.
read
Go ahead.
Prabhuji?
Yes,
Shall I read
read
Prabhuji?
45 Amma.
Text 45. युवामां पुत्रभावेन ब्रह्मभावेन च सकृत् चिन्तयन्तौ कृतस्नेहौ यास्येथे मद्गन्ति पराम्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Both of you, husband and wife, constantly think of me as your son, but always know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thus thinking of me constantly, with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection, returning home back to Godhead. Purpose. This instruction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his father and mother, who are eternally connected with him, is especially intended for persons eager to return home back to Godhead. One should never think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an ordinary human being, as non-devotees do. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally appeared and left his instructions for the benefit of all human society. But fools and rascals unfortunately think of him as an ordinary human being and twist the instructions of Bhagavad Gita for the satisfaction of their senses. Practically, everyone commenting on Bhagavad Gita interrupts it for sense gratification. It has become especially fashionable for modern scholars and politicians to interpret Bhagavad Gita as if it were something fictitious, and by their wrong interpretations, they are spoiling their own careers and the careers of others. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is fighting against this principle of regarding Krishna as a fictitious person and of accepting that there was no battle of Kurukshetra, that everything is symbolic and that nothing in Bhagavad Gita is true. In any case, if one truly wants to be successful, one can do so by reading the text of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially stressed that in Bhagavad Gita, Yare Dekha Tare Ha Krishna Upadesha. If one wants to achieve the highest success in life, one must accept Bhagavad Gita as spoken by the Supreme Lord. By accepting Bhagavad Gita in this way, all of human society can become perfect and happy. It is to be noted that because Vasudeva and Devaki would be separated from Krishna when he was carried to Gokula, the residence of Nanda Maharaja, the Lord personally instructed them that they should always think of him as their son and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That would keep them in touch with him. After 11 years, the Lord returned to Mathura to be their son, and therefore there was no question of separation. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Amma, you want to say any words about what we read?
Yeah, what he says is we should not think of him as an ordinary person. He's Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we should worship, we should love him like that only. That's what.
Yeah, Mataji, the Lord is giving one task for us. in this verse.
Yeah.
Everyone, you can unmute. Hare Krishna, Lilananda Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please stop me if I speak something wrong somewhere, and please feel free to comment. I will be very happy to hear
But
your
then,
wonderful
Hare
voice.
Krishna, you are just explaining based on the purport. There's nothing wrong. Please go ahead, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The Lord is giving us one task in this verse. Anyone, what is the task the Lord is giving us? The Lord is giving us, we have talked in the previous purport, right? Thinking, feeling, and willing. In this particular task, the Lord is giving us a task of thinking, manmanha bhava mad bhakto. Your man, ananyas chintayanto mam, anya chinta lekunda, think about thinking, right? Think about thinking. The Lord is asking us to think about Him. There are like thousands of bestseller books, motivational books out there in the market, in New York, on the power of thinking, the power of subconscious mind, and you name it, like there are thousands literally. And that looks like a very, very important thing. So while we chant, while we do Sankirtan, while we are in satsang, maybe we practice more and more about thinking. By thus thinking of me constantly with love and affection, you will achieve the highest perfection. The Lord is telling that by that thinking process, you will achieve me back to Godhead, because this thinking is involved in every seva that we do, right? And in the just recent Bharat that we have seen in our childhood, if we have gone into the fields, when people in the villages do the field work, what did they do while doing the work? They sang Hari Kathas, right? The songs of Hari, you know. Ramakrishna nanivaadu unteneemi poteneemira, right? The person's life who don't say Rama and Krishna, what good is his life even, the people who come for begging, I remember, right? The people who come for alms, they always sang about Panduranga bhajans. Yeah. So the Hari Katha, and this was part of life. This was the things that we heard everywhere. And then constantly that way, the thought was there in the society. Or unfortunately, I was also astonished by one fact that was told by His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhuji and Vishaka Priya Mataji, is that these things are not happening for the first time. The stealing of Vedas. It so happened that Prabhuji studied at Nalanda University, His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu. And we feel so bad, as we should, as so many of Granthas are, burned in Nalanda Vishwavidyalaya at that time. But Prabhuji said it was not the first time. So I think these bad news, breaking news were there from time immemorial, right? And probably we shouldn't get too much carried away by them. I have that problem many times, when something happens to sadhu, I become like think too much about that. But it looks like it's a common thing that goes on. And the Lord, tells us, helps us here by, no, don't care about all of them. Think about me, constantly. So, yes, by putting to practice, yare dekha thare, kaha Krishna Upadesh. If one wants highest success in life, one must accept Bhagavad Gita as spoken by the Supreme Lord. In this way, all human society can become perfect and happy. If one thing that stops all the wars in the world, Srila Prabhupada said, that is, Harinam Sankirtan and Krishna conscious way of life. Hare Krishna Mahamantra can stop all the wars, is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada stressed. And in next few verses, we get into a most beautiful part of when you carry Krishna, how Krishna carries you. Right? These are going to be very sweet from 46 to 53. Let's concentrate more. Can one of you kindly unmute and read the verse 46, please? Hare Krishna Puja Mataji, Danot Pranam. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, Ashir and Giraj Prabhuji, please.
Voice clear, Madam.
Mahandi Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3. third chapter, 46th sloka. Sri Uvacha Ityuksvasi Dari Krishnam Bhagavanatmamaya Pitro Sampasyotos Tabhyo Babuva Tatuta Shishu Bhagavanatmamaya Sri Uvacha Ityuksvasi Bhagavan Atmamaya Pitro Sampasyotos Tabhyo Babuva Tatuta Shishu. Translation purposes of our confusion. So scroll this one.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Sukadeva Goswami said, after thus instructing his father and mother, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna remained silent in their presence by his internal energy. He then transformed himself into a small human child. In other words, he transformed himself into his original form. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Sambhavami Atmamaya. Whatever is done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead is done by his spiritual energy. Nothing is forced upon him by the material nature. This is the difference between the Lord and an ordinary living being. The Vedas says, Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shriyate, Prabhaviti Jnana Balakriya. Svetasvatana Upanishad 6.1. It is natural for the Lord to be untinged by material qualities. And because everything is perfectly present in his spiritual energy, as soon as he desires something, it is immediately done. The Lord is not a Prakruta Shishu, a child of this world, but by his personal energy he appeared like one. Ordinary people may have difficulty accepting the Supreme Controller, God as human being, because they forget that he can do everything in spiritual energy. Atmamaya. Non-believers say, how can the Supreme Controller descend as an ordinary being? This sort of thinking is materialistic. Like Vijaya Goswami says, that unless we accept the energy of the Supreme Personality of God as inconceivable, beyond the conception of our words and mind, we cannot understand the Supreme God. Those who doubt that the Supreme Personality of God can come as a human being and turn himself into a human child are fools. Yeah, are fools. Okay. Are fools who think that Krishna's body is material, that he is born and that he therefore also dies. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, verses 28 and 29, there is a description of Krishna's leaving his body. I will approach it inquired from Sukadeva Goswami. When all the members of the Yadu dynasty met there, and Krishna also put an end to himself, and the only member of the family who remained alive was Uddhava. How was this possible? Sukadeva Goswami answered that Krishna, by his own energy, destroyed the entire family and then thought of making his own body disappear. In this connection, Sukadeva Goswami described how the Lord gave up his body, but this was not the destruction of Krishna's body. Rather, it was the disappearance of the Supreme Lord by his personal life. Actually, actually, the Lord does not give up his body, which is eternal. But as he can change his body form from the form of Vishnu to the form of an ordinary human form, he can change his body to any form he likes. This does not mean that he gives up his body. The spiritual energy, the Lord can appear in a body made of wood and stone. He can change his body into anything because everything is energy. Paraksha Shakti Vidya Shriyate. As clearly said in Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Inna Prakriti Nastava. The material elements are separated from the Supreme Lord. If He transforms himself into Archamurti, the worshipable deity, which we see as stone or wood, is still Krishna. Therefore, the Shastra wants Arche Vishnu Shivadhe Gurus Naramati. One who thinks that the worshipable deity in the temple is made of wood or stone, one who sees a Vaishnava Guru as an ordinary human being, or one who materially conceives of a Vaishnava as belonging to a particular caste, is Narati, the resident of hell. Naraka is a hell. Naraki means a resident of hell. A supreme personality of God can appear before us in many forms as we likes, but we must know the true facts. Janma karma chanayadhyam evam yodhyam. Covered with the 4.9. By following the instructions of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra, the saintly persons, the spiritual master, and the authority of the scriptures, one can understand Krishna. And then one makes his life successful by returning home back to God.
Hari Hari Bol. Wonderful, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you want to tell a few words, please?
Last few lines on the Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
Naraki.
Amazing, amazing version. Prabhuji.
Naraki. So, residents of Narakaloka is Naraki, human beings, Naraki beings. So, this is the thing. We always, from Prabhupada's lectures and Prabhupada's purports, all these conversations, always emphasize this. One pramana. Pramana means visual pramana. Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. Then we can understand Krishna. And by so, maybe so, by going to Sadhu, Devotees, situation, by surrendering in the Lord of the Guru, by following scriptures, by all the Darshan of God, we get to know Krishna. That is a that can make us successful in this life to go back and back. Last lines are touching Prabhu, very nice. And again, Krishna is different forms. He can change any form. It's up to him because everything is created by him. From this purpose, we can understand. Parashi Shakti, Vividaya Suyate. He can change any number of forms. It's up to him because he is a creator. He is a creator. Creator can modify anything or add anything with his own wish. That's fair. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for wonderful explanation. It's Lord, it's his wish, however he wants, right? When King Indradyumna wanted, my Lord, what to do now? No, leave me like this. I'm happy like this. Right. One Brahmachari Prabhu, who is a very senior Vaishnava in Norway, tells the predominant deity of Kali Yuga at this point is Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai. And the
Yeah,
Lord is so
so
mysterious. He is giving his origin of Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharaja to us as we are getting into the mood of Jagannath Ratha Yatra, where we have a huge planning happening tomorrow, right? The Lord is slowly getting into the Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, avatars in next 2-3 verses, right? The Lord is so wonderful. And one of our prominent Vaishnavas that we know, mentioned his lectures, again and again. We are probably chanting some rounds of chanting. We are probably doing Sankirtan book distribution, but somewhere we are failing to give credit to Srila Prabhupada. It does. We are not pressing the matter much. We are selling Bhagavad Gitas. We are going out. We are doing many, many things throughout the world. But the credit to ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada is just speaking of general Hindu society, right? Yeah, we are going out. And he was telling, people are telling wonderful things, we're doing big Deepavali program here and there on the name of ISKCON. But the name of ISKCON and name of Srila Prabhupada is not that much going into the society. That's a thing to, see. Yeah, this verse comes from Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra, right? These three things are pramanas of whatever speak or whatever we do. On basis of that, we will do that. Then his request to all of us, is that give credit where it is due. And Srila Prabhupada's name should be heard more in the society. in the streets of India, especially. Somewhere the credit to ISKCON is missing. Many things. Where did we had this bhajan meetups, bhajan clubbings, or where did we have restoration of? We had, right, but then to this extent, take Vrindavana for example, right, before Srila Prabhupada and after Srila Prabhupada. Ratha Yatra in these many places in the world, uh, but somewhere probably we on each one of us, should carry Srila Prabhupada's name on our shoulders. Then maybe we are doing already good, but I think there is a room for better, right? And how can we brand ISKCON's more thing was this particular devotees, arc in that lecture. Entire theme of that long lecture was, uh, more credit to Srila Prabhupada, more credit to ISKCON. So many societies, so many things in the societies are being fixed by ISKCON. The world is taking a new shape because of ISKCON. Then its name should come out everywhere. Hare Krishna. Yes, the Lord, then gave this Chaturbuja form of Vishnu to the Devaki Mata. Now he himself, become a very small child. Let's read. I think time is running out. Oh, already. Shilpa Mataji, is it 1 hour class and 1.5 hours? Sorry.
8:30.
8:30. That is good. We have half an hour time then. Yes, 47. Who is taking it? Then I will take it. One. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Sirisha Mataji, please take it. I'll take the next one.
ततश्च सौरिर्भगवत् प्रकोदिता सूतां समादाय स सूतिकाग्रहत् यदा बहिर्गन्तुम् इयेषा तार्ह्ययाजा या योगं मायाजनिनन्द जायया. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Thereafter, exactly when Vasudeva, being inspired by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to take the newborn child from the delivery room, Yogamaya, the Lord's spiritual energy, took birth as the daughter of the wife of Maharaja Nanda. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura discusses that Krishna appeared simultaneously as the son of Devaki and as the son of Yashoda, along with the spiritual energy Yogamaya. As the son of Devaki, he first appeared as Vishnu, and because Vasudeva was not in the position of pure affection for Krishna, Vasudeva worshipped his son as Lord Vishnu. Yashoda, however, pleased her son Krishna without understanding his godhood. This is the difference between Krishna as a son of Yashoda and as a son of Devaki. This is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti on the authority of Hari Vamsha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mother, you want to say a few words?
No, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes. Yoga Maya has entered into the scene as well. There was a little sandarbha to this. The Lord has given this task to Yoga Maya. You go and do these things. Right? The Lord has told her. She is taking birth in the womb of Yashoda Mata, and she will be known later as Kali, Chandika, Annapurna Devi, Krishna, Subhadra, all these things. She is going to become the sister of Lord Krishna. And we keep on hearing in our purports, right? We saw Krishna Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami before. Now we see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's authority on Harivamsha, right? All these have wonderful lectures on from His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, right? If you want to know about them, Prabhuji speaks very, very, very wonderfully on these things. Before you want to read these books, right? I would urge you to hear lectures from His Grace. And his knowledge of our Gaudiya Parampara is also so amazing. I did Vedic quiz part on the lives of our Acharyas, right? And all of them, Shad Goswamis especially, and his lecture on Indra Prabhu. Yeah, if you want to read these books, I would suggest please go and hear his lecture and then start the book. That has complete different thing. If you have done with all Srila Prabhupada books and wants to go to Sandarbhas or Harivamsha, you know, he has amazing explanation as a pretext. Can you close the door, beta? Thank you. Yes, Hare Krishna. So it is also explained, he gave a full instructions and description to Devaki Mata as Vasudeva was in prison for so long, with a disturbed mind, and probably was not in a position of pure affection for Krishna at that time. Also mentioned in this verse. 48 and 49, I can take if you are
Hare
allowed.
Krishna, Prabhu, I'll do Prabhu.
Yes, Amma, please. Please go ahead.
तया हृतप्रतय सर्ववृष्टो देवः श्रेष्ठो पौरेशेव अपि स्यायेत् वथा द्वारश्च सर्वः पिहिता दुरत्यया बृहत्कपातायस्य किला शृङ्खलया ताः कृष्णावाहे वासुदेवागते स्वयं व्यवा व्यवर्यन्त यतोतमरावे ववर्ष पर्जन्य उपांशो गर्जिता शेषोन्वगत् वारि निवार्यन् फणये. Translations and purports by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. By the influence of Yoga Maya, all the doorkeepers fell fast asleep, their senses unable to work, and the other inhabitants of the house also fell deeply asleep. When the sun rises, the darkness automatically disappears. Similarly, when Vasudeva appeared, the closed doors, which were strongly pinned with iron and locked with iron chains, opened automatically. Since the clouds in the sky were mildly thundering and showering, Anantanaga and expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead followed Vasudeva, beginning from the door with hoods expanded to protect Vasudeva and the transcendental child. Purport. Sheshanag is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead whose business is to serve the Lord with all the necessary paraphernalia. When Vasudeva was carrying the child, Sheshanag came to serve the Lord and protect him from the mild showers of rain. Very good. Prabhu, you are on mute.
You want to say anything, Mataji? Shilpa Mataji?
No, I'm just recollecting all the movies where we saw this nice, beautiful scene.
Exactly, Mataji. That's what is coming to the picture, right? When Vasudeva carries Krishna and Ananta Shesha. Yeah. Let's give all the glory to Ananta Shesha as well, right? The service, the Lakshmanji, the Nityananda Ji. It's the same person, right? It's the Ananta Shesha, Sheshagiri hills in Tirupati. The Lord is in the form of Edu Gundalu there, protecting the Lord, right? Yes. Ananta Shesh Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Balaram ji ki jai. It is also so sweet that in Ramayana, all the Lord was younger brother, elder brother, right? So Lakshmana did so many things, and then not anymore. In next life, I will become your brother. Then this pastime is very nice when Balaram has to become angry on Krishna in the episode of Subhadra Devi that we have seen recently in our satsang Sunday feast lecture, right? Yes, Krishna, how can I chastise you? मैं तो आपका सेवक हूँ. I am your servant, but the world doesn't know it, right? Lord Ananta Shesha is doing so much seva to the Lord, right? Ananta Dev ki jai. And yes, on Janmashtami day, we do this, right? Vasudeva carries the beautiful child, and then Ananta Dev Sheshana protects him from the top. Yeah. Sri Krishna Bhagavan's Agaman ki jai ho. X50, please. I can take it. Mago nivarshati ashakti yamonuja gambhiratayo gajavomi fenila भयानकावर्तशक शतकूल नदी margam dadau sindhu iva shriya patehe. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because of constant rain sent by the demigod Indra, the river Yamuna was filled with deep water, foaming about with fiercely whirling waves. But as the great Indian Ocean had formerly given way to Lord Ramachandra by allowing him to construct a bridge, the river Yamuna gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. Hari Hari Bol. This also comes as a movie scene, right? Yamuna, flooding Yamuna, not normal Yamuna, flooding Yamuna. Lord Indra is not able to stop. All these clouds are there, his clouds, right? Samvardhaka and all were there, and then in jubilation they were dancing, all the clouds. They couldn't stop pouring in, and it was also already flooding river. It is like swelling river. It's going like, and then it cuts himself into half and gives way to Vasudeva. Hari Hari Bol. Vanamali Vasudeva Manmohana Radha Ramana. Hare Krishna. This Manmohana, it's wonderful. Hare Krishna. Please take 51. Yes, Amma, please take it.
नन्दव्रजं सौरीर् उपेत्य तत्र तान् गोपान् प्रसृतान् उपलभ्य निद्रया सूतं यशोदास्य शयने निधया तत् सूतम् उपाध्याय पुनर्गृहान् अगात्. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Vasudev reached the house of Nanda Maharaj, he saw that all the cowherd men were fast asleep. Thus he placed his own son on the bed of Yashoda, picked up her daughter, an expansion of Yogamaya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Kamsa. Purport: Vasudev knew very well that as soon as the daughter was in the prison house of Kamsa, Kamsa would immediately kill her. But to protect her own child, he had to kill the child of his friend. Nanda Maharaj was his friend, but out of deep affection and attachment for his own son, he knowingly did this. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that one cannot be blamed for protecting one's own child at the sacrifice of another's. Furthermore, Vasudev cannot be accused of callousness, since his actions were impelled by the force of Yogamaya.
Yeah, important
Maya's
instruction.
part is very important. It's like a plot, and then she has ensured that everyone, all the Devi Devatas are doing their jobs to make this happen.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Srila Prabhupada also gives us one important instruction in the next purport, Mataji, on the role of Yoga Maya, right? And she is a worshipable or Subhadra Maharani. Yes. And yeah, this was instructed by the Lord. So we cannot see anything wrong from Vasudeva there. But nevertheless, it is praised, the affection of son, affection of the own child, son or daughter, is like so strong, to anybody is what is mentioned here. And out of all the shokas that you have, the shoka of losing a son is the highest, it is said, right? By Bhagavatam. Yeah. Yes, picked up his daughter, the expansion of Yoga Maya, and then returned to his residence, the prison house of Krishna. So everybody was asleep. I think that is explained in the next verse. Let me not reveal that. Srila Prabhupada explains it better. 52nd verse, small one. Anyone, please?
देवक्या शयने न्यास्य वासुदेवोऽथा दारिकाम् प्रतिमुच्य पदोर्लोहम् अस्ते पूर्ववद् आवृतः. Translation: Vasudev placed the female child on the bed of Devaki, bound his legs with iron shackles, and thus remained there as before.
As if nothing happened.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Should I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
यशोदानंद पत्नी च जातं परम अबुधया अभू sorry, what is this?
Abudhyata.
अबुध्यता
Abudhyata.
न तल्लिंगम परिश्रन्ता निद्रयापगता स्मृतिः. Sorry, Prabhu.
No problem, Mama, please,
Translation and
please.
purport by Srila Prabhupada. Exhausted by the labor of childbirth, Yashoda was overwhelmed with sleep and unable to understand what kind of child has been born to her. Purport. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev were intimate friends, and so were their wives Yashoda and Devaki. Although their names were different, they were practically non-different personalities. The only difference is that Devaki was able to understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had been born to her and had now changed into Krishna, whereas Yashoda was not able to understand what kind of child had been born to her. Yashoda was such an advanced devotee that she never regarded Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but simply loved him as her own child. Devaki, however, knew from the very beginning that although Krishna was her son, he was the supreme personality of the Godhead. In Vrindavan, no one regarded Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. When something very wonderful happened because of Krishna's activities, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the cowherd men, the cowherd boys, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, and others, were surprised, but they never considered their son Krishna the supreme personality of Godhead. Sometimes they suggested that some kind of demigod had appeared there as Krishna. In such an exalted status of devotional service, a devotee forgets the position of Krishna and intensely loves the Supreme Personality of Godhead without understanding his position. This is called Kevala Bhakti and is distinct from the stages of Jnana and Jnanamayi Bhakti. Hari Bol. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the 10th canto, 3rd chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Birth of Lord Krishna.
Hari Hari Bo. That way the
Prabhu.
Lord entered. Yes, Mataji, that way the Lord came into Nanda Maharaja's house, right? And I heard some lectures in this regard, right? And one wonderful examples of this, that whoever carries the Lord carries them. Is the, and how to carry that? Do we need to really worry and plan, on carrying the Lord, taking ourselves to Him, or taking Him to the right place, right? तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं दधामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयन्ति ते दधामि बुद्धियोगं तं Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita 10.10. I will give you the intelligence with which you can come to me. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu rightly mentions, we fall in on the train, be it general, first AC, third AC, or whatever it is. It is going to Delhi, for example. If we remain in the train, whatever bogie it is, even in the, mal gadi, even it in the cargo, we are there, and the train is going there. If we remain in the train, we will be reaching the destination. Like that. Any examples that you want to give when you carry Krishna, that Krishna carries you? In Telangana, in my village, people used to say, Bhagavantudu ఏదో ఒక రోజు నిన్ను ఎత్తుకుంటాడు అని, which means, if you depend on God, he will carry you definitely. Any examples on this? Yes, we see one example here. Vasudeva carrying Vasudeva, and then Vasudeva protects them and they become free from the prison and all these things. Any other examples that you want to give? They have carried Krishna and Krishna has carried them. You can all unmute maybe. It's almost end of the class, right? We have 15 minutes just for a discussion. Yeah, we see our Srila Prabhupada, my Lord, I'm going in this Jaladuta. I do not know whether I will be alive or not. I will reach the shore of American, beaches, alive or dead, right? You know what? Some devotees tried to take similar ship, tried to travel from young people, I'm talking about young American devotees, started from Kolkata and tried to go to New York, right? And the ship goes from various ports, right? From Iran and then Spain and then some ports in Europe, and then it goes to America like that. And many of them couldn't take the travel. Somebody departed in Iran, somebody departed in Spain and took a flight, right? They couldn't travel. It's not that easy. But then Srila Prabhupada said, "My Lord, I do not know whether to go to left or right after I get down. You want me to dance? I will dance. You want me to sing? I will sing to your tunes. But it is you who will carry me." And Srila Prabhupada carried Krishna in the form of Bhagavatam and entered the shores of America. And that Bhagavatam, in the form of Bhagavatam, that Bhagavatam has carried Srila Prabhupada. It carried Srila Prabhupada on a Rolls Royce and golden chariots. So many chariots, wonderful chariots. Krishna has carried him. And another example, please forgive me, Lilananda Prabhuji. His Lilananda Prabhuji, His Grace, for a decade now, is trying to carry Krishna in Hyderabad. And now we see, I'm so happy. I probably never spoke this before, but Prabhuji's name is so famous in Oslo, where I served in ISKCON temple. Maybe you don't know this. My god brother's name, His Grace Deeptiman Prabhu. He gives lectures very often there. And he takes Lilan Prabhuji's name many, many times. When a devotee is sincerely serving Krishna, he is carried by Krishna. And that empowered devotee will elevate all of us and drives our train. Right? Many, many, many wonderful devotees who are carrying Krishna. Krishna will definitely carry them. Right? This was the theme of this. Hare Krishna Srinivas Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for joining in. Lilananda Prabhuji, I beg you to spend a few words on this wonderful, wonderful part of the chapter. Yeah, it looks like Prabhuji is busy. Yes, anyone, any questions or comments? Please, each one of you can tell a sentence, other than thank you. You can tell anything wonderful realization when we read this beautiful part. Padma Mataji, you want to say anything? Anushri Mataji, Shirisha Mataji, Shilpa Mataji, Madhavi Mataji, Haripriya Mataji, Padma Malini Mataji, Akshay Prabhu, Srija Mataji, Lilananda Prabhuji,
Prabhuji,
Giriraj
our seniors and everyone keep saying, no, Prabhuji, that whatever happens, happens for good. But from an outside view, when we look at this story, we know that it's all God's plan and everyone is doing their duty. So when we see and hear such stories, we feel that, okay, whatever happens, happens for our good.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, also one missing point from people's view is that the Lord didn't just come as their son, right? They did so much endeavor. And what were the two things that were missing when Mother Yashoda was, trying to tie the Lord with the rope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this endeavor was there. And yeah, it's again, as we reciprocate, the Lord reciprocates back. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya, right? Swalpam, he is asking, not so much.
Yes, Prabhu.
Any other comment or question? Yes, Prabhuji. So happy Leela Prabhuji unmuted.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for taking this class and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We are endeavoring to read and hear Bhagavatam at least once in a week, every 2 times in a week we are doing. And some devotees, some of all of you are joining. My humble request is just continue in this endeavor. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, given by Srila Prabhupada to purify all of us. I personally feel very privileged to be in this association where Bhagavatam is being read. This chapter is very beautiful, in terms of Krishna's appearance. But so much disturbance has happened before he appeared. And It's inconceivable why Lord Krishna plans like this. But because of his plan, we all remember this story and we keep reciting the story again and again. And every time we read, it feels new. So, and I seek the blessings of all devotees in the call right now, because we are starting a new batch. And today, almost 35 to 40 new people are coming who have, I'm sure they have gone through whatever troubles and experiences in their material life. And now they have chosen to start their spiritual life. So whenever I see new people in our Gachibowli Satsang, I feel very nice that Krishna still feels that we deserve to serve them, and Krishna is sending them, and they're going to be introduced to Srila Prabhupada. They're going to be introduced to our Krishna conscious philosophy. So please intensely pray two things. One, that they should advance. Two, that I should be able to serve them. Many new batches have done, but every time I start anything new, I feel like it's really new. I feel the same tension. I feel the same anxiety of how it should happen. So I don't know. So 4 new batches are starting, irrespective of that 5 people, 4 people, 10 people, 40 people, doesn't matter. Even if one person is sitting, when we give the class with enthusiasm, then Krishna will reciprocate and purify us. So seek all your blessings. Hare Krishna. Dandavatanam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Any other comment anyone has? Since Lilananda Prabhuji is here, he can clear that. Any question or comment, please? Anyone? If not, let us all sincerely pray from the core of our heart. Think of Krishna and pray 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So all the new batches, especially Lilananda Prabhuji's, once becomes a grand success, and Krishna really reveals himself through the heart of his Grace Lilananda Prabhuji to all these devotees who are coming. 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Can we do, please? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
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 Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Chandra
Hare
Srimad
Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki jai. His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri.
Thank you so much. Hare
वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Thank you so much at your lotus feet for giving time this morning. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Have a wonderful weekend, Krishna conscious weekend, tomorrow and day after.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Amma.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Shilpa Mataji, let's close the call, please.
Okay. I'll end the session here, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.